So today is Wednesday, August 29th, 2018. It's 3:20 a.m. and I decided to try an experiment. I'm going to record video my Dear Great Creator prayer letters, which will be like a prayer video, and document it, and that way I can share it and with key people, and just kind of reach out. I mean, the whole point of doing the work for women's issues is being able to feel like you can share about it, and it's not very easy to do sometimes. I have a lot of confidential issues, and I prefer encryption, and I need to find ways to encrypt because I have highly sensitive, highly confidential issues. I think that's why moon circles work so well for me, because when you're in a circle and you call the guardians and you come together, woman to woman, heart to heart, you get a sense of safety and security, and you build a sisterhood, and you share each other's hopes and dreams and fears and worries and anger. And those require circle protection. When we do a ceremony, we call in the four directions, kind of like our guardians of the four directions. When we do like a Beltane ceremony, we also call the four directions, the Irish Celtic, and it's to protect the circle. And we normally don't record anything. It's whoever is in that circle, heart to heart, mind to mind, body to body, connect in that space, sacred space and time. It's allowing that sacred space. And that's, to me, is really important with women's issues, feeling safe, because there's a lot of women who have confidentiality problems. Women who are sexual assault survivors like me, domestic violence assault survivors like me, and to share the details, especially if the abuse is still ongoing. Stalking is an issue. The other night, I had a stalker, and it happened before, and I recognized the signs of it, and I was able to reach out to a bus driver and let them know that I was being stalked. They have special training, and they were able to help me, and I appreciate that. And today I had a friend named Jay. He escorted me to the bus stop because I tried to get a counselor to talk to me, and the closest appointment I could get was Thursday with Dr. Barathkas, Dr. B, and that's too late. But I was able to use my contacts and connect with the Waukesha Women's Center. Leanne, she does public speaking, and I connected her with Beth from security so that they could do a community event and talk about how to protect yourself as a sexual assault survivor, domestic violence survivor, or as a woman in general, safety. I mean, I would really love to see at Gerald Ignace self-defense courses for women, strategies, maybe police demonstration, perhaps, someone's trying to steal your purse. What should you do? How do you defend yourself if someone's trying to choke you? Like when I was training with St. Amelia in Lakeside, we had to learn how to break away from a chokehold. Like our lanyards would break away. They're not solid, so that they're Velcro strapped. So if somebody were to try to choke you with your lanyard, that it would like fall apart. It wouldn't like strangle you with your own ID badge. And so, these kinds of strategies help keep me safe, because you never know. I mean, I was just sitting out there at the bus stop, and there was a high-speed car chase between this car that came, there was a car coming west on Oklahoma, and it sharp turned north on 35th Street, and the cop car was in hot pursuit, like right after it, and came right out after that. And it was like really stressful, because whenever I see a first responder with sirens, I start to pray, and I pray for God to be there with the first responder, whatever they're facing, to help, if they're trying to catch a criminal, or if they're trying to help somebody who's been injured, or rescue somebody. I try to add my focus on the first responder. I literally stop what I'm doing and I start to pray, because there are lots of things going on out there, and I need to feel safe, and I often don't. And that's something that's been happening to me all through my life. I've had stalkers. I've had, my ex, George Allen Baker Jr., he murdered my unborn child, and he attacked me using his martial arts skills. He was my sensei and my teacher, and I had hoped that we would have a happy, loving relationship. We met in high school. We were high school sweethearts. He started training me on self-defense because he knew that sex traffickers had targeted me. A lot of people on the street when I was only 14 would treat me like I was 18 or even younger. At 11, I looked like I could be 18. And so I would get these men that would follow me or pursue me or whistle at me or try to touch me. That's the thing that I don't like. Like, while I'll be walking on the south side of Milwaukee, and this was before I was walking with my half wolf, half Siberian Husky, and these men, when I'm just a grade school kid, would hit on me and say very lewd and crude things, and I wouldn't be able to fight them off. They would corner me, they would surround me, and I'd have to bust out to break free from their stronghold. And they don't understand they're dealing with a grade school kid, and yet they're, I had already become a woman, and I looked like an 18-year-old. I could get into casinos when I was a kid. When I was a kid, I could get into casinos, and they thought I was an adult. And my foster mother just let them, she just took me to the casino out in Minnesota, and I was still a minor, and they never carded me. They never carded me, and, it's when you become a woman in 4th grade, it's really hard, especially on the south side, especially around Hispanic communities. With the men are very patriarchal, and they think they can grab you. They literally would reach out and grab me, and nobody taught me how to respond. My father, Grady Guy Gardner Jr., also was grabbing me. He would set me up. He would try to make sure nobody else was around, or take me someplace where it would be just him and I. And then he would touch me, not like a father-daughter, but like a lover. And that was really upsetting to me, especially as a little girl. I mean, I'd wake up and his fingers would be penetrating me in my vagina. You can't fight that off. I used to get so afraid to go to sleep at night because I would wake up and he would be there, naked, jacking off in the corner with his robe open. And I could see it all. He would be hiding in the corner in the shadows. And there he would be staring at me while I'm sleeping and jacking off, or he would, like I said, I was sound asleep, and then I could feel something between my legs, and I broke out of a sleep. And here he is hovering right over me. His face is right above me. and his fingers are penetrating me, rubbing in and out, fucking me with his fingers. Not molesting, not touching. I mean, literally fucking me with his fingers. And I was like 14. And I told my stepmother what was happening. And he chose to lie and say, oh, I was comforting her, quote unquote. Who the fucking father comforts a child by penetrating her with not one, but multiple fingers in and out, in and out, in and out? Like literally fucking your daughter with your fingers. And so I grew up in a world, like I was told they found video of me being used as a toddler in child sex pornography, that they actually identified me in those videos. And I don't have a memory of that. Like I don't remember at all. And so when it was brought to my attention, I was scared to know if I was going to have latent memories just start surfacing, because I'm in front of a camera a lot. I often get in front of a camera, and I thought, well, maybe that's because I'm comfortable in front of a camera. But then it occurred to me, if I had been raised with a camera since early on, that I would have a different relationship with the camera. And then you talk about like these people who have latent memories that like all of a sudden surface, and it's like my body is not considered sacred by men. I mean, 2 years old, fucking 2 years old, you're gonna film me as a baby in diapers in your sex scenes, and that there's somebody out there buying that. People are buying that, and they're probably still looking at me, and I can never get those back. I can't like take them off the market because I don't know where the hell it is, but it's out there, and it disturbs me that I have no control over my body, over my image, over like who I am, and it is really upsetting. Like really upsetting. Because I was taught by the women that I'm supposed to be sacred, that a woman's body is sacred. Maiden, mother, crone. The Celtics, who come up with the triple goddesses, talk about sacredness of the woman's body. And how can I defend myself? How can I protect myself when I have been violated, and that's all I've known by men? Just my own quote-unquote father, like violating me, my adopted father. So it's like I grew up in a hostile environment from the get-go. I mean, it's only now that I'm the one holding the camera, and I'm the one choosing what to say, and I am having a right of freedom of speech, and I am the one controlling what content I put out there. But there's content of me that's embarrassing and shameful and humiliating. Pictures of me, videos of me, of perverts and predators. See, I've been targeted by predators since I was a baby. I was sexualized as a baby. I was not even grade school, pre-kindergarten, preschool, still in diapers. My mother found me bleeding. Kim Marie Dillman found me bleeding vaginally. She found blood in my diapers. I remember her trying to give me a bath, and the water burning between cuts in between my legs from forced penetration by other men. I remember that part. And I remember standing up in that tub and screaming bloody murder because the soap burned so bad I couldn't make it stop. And she didn't understand. And she beat me over and over and over again and pushed me back in the soapy water. which burned even more. My face was beet red, and I screamed louder, and I pushed her away, and I got up again, and I was screaming louder and louder, and Gamma came running. What's going on? What's going on? And Mom's like trying to understand. She's like, Buffy keeps screaming. I don't know what's wrong. Buffy keeps screaming, and she wants to stay in the tub. And that's when they found the blood in the diaper, and they put two and two together. And that's why my mother left Grady. That's why they got a divorce. Because he violated me. Nobody believed my mother when she reported it to the courts. And the courts gave me back to my predator. Back to my sexual predator. Heck, I even said I wanted to be with my sexual predator. Because I thought I could trust him. He said, Buffy, I promise I'll never abuse you, and I never will. I never abused you, and I never will, he said. Right in front of my stepmother, Sue. I confronted him. My mom's like, don't you remember you being abused? And I didn't. I had no memory. God must have been shielding me from that trauma and just sealed my memory shut. Because all I remember her is beating me in the tub. I was mad at her. I was mad at her because she wouldn't let me out of the tub. I was mad at her. She kept pushing me in. I had to fight against that woman. Fight at 2 years old. Fight. And so I went to the house crying because I couldn't remember. Did Grady abuse me? Did Dad abuse me? Because back then he was just Dad. Walked 2 miles in the rain. 2 fucking miles. And I get there, and Sue's there, and I ask him directly in front of Sue, did you abuse me? Mom said you sexually abused me as a baby. Is that true? I confronted him. I was 9 years old, confronting my sexual predator alone. Sue was at his side. Nobody was on my side. My mother wasn't there to protect me. Sue wasn't there to protect me. She was only 12 years older than me. She was like 21. And I was 9. And I'm like, Dad, did you sexually abuse me? And he's like, Buffy, no, I never abused you. And I promise, quote unquote, I promise I never will. And I chose to believe him. I thought if I confronted and was direct, I'd get a straight answer, that he would speak the truth, that Sue would be a witness, and then I could live with him because his house was cleaner. He had a job. We had food there. When I was living with Kim, she had a boyfriend that was a gangbanger. He brought guns to the house. When he talked to her, he punched the wall right next to her face to threaten her, leaving a hole right next to her head. I watched him sexually expose himself to me, took his towel off in front of me with his genitals hanging out, pressed it up against the window as we were walking out of the house. And my mother to this day doesn't believe me when I tell her that. She doesn't believe me. She's like, oh, he would never do that. Well, he did. I swear to God, he did. And this was at 9 years old. My body has been a fucking war zone. And people talk about safety and security. Well, I have confidentiality issues. This video is probably going to be unlisted. And only a handful of people, maybe my therapist, maybe somebody I trust, will hear these words. Because I'm angry. I'm angry at all the fucking injustice I had to go through as a baby, as a young child at 9, and this baby at 2, and at 14. This has been a hostile environment for me. There was no rainbows and sunshines and glitter nail polish and fun things and Hello Kitty. No, I have been fighting a fucking war zone over my body. I have been violated repeatedly within my house, in my own bed while I sleep. And that's why I have problems sleeping. That's why I get up 3 fucking in the morning. People think I'm a night owl or an early riser, but I can't sleep. And this has been going on for decades. And I don't take sleep aids. I sleep when I can. But this is what my nightmares are about. About going to sleep and waking up to your fucking father's fingers. Multiple fingers pushing in and out of my vagina while I'm sleeping. Him watching me while I'm taking a bath with holes in the bathroom wall. He literally drilled holes in the bathroom wall. Would always come down to the basement when I took a bath. And I never put 2 and 2 together until it was too late. Then he'd walk in and say, oops, I didn't know you're there. You didn't see the light. You didn't hear the water running. You didn't knock. He never put a lock on the bathroom door. He just let himself in, watching me in my nakedness, watching me masturbate, watching me take a shower, watching me be myself. I couldn't have no freedom. I had gotten a diary, and this guy was penetrating me with his fingers and violating my bathroom time. And why would I want to write something where he could read? Really, I mean, it had a stupid, flimsy little lock. You just take some scissors and snap that off, and he would be inside your fucking head. Well, why would I talk about that? I have been so angry at God for putting men like this in my path, giving me to Grady. And then I find out he's not even my father. He's not even my father. He's pretending to be my father. He even told me he wasn't my father. He said, Buffy, quote, there is no way that you are my child. I was on the reservation in Bowler, Wisconsin. There is no way that you can be my child. I was nowhere near your mother when she conceived you. But I will love you as a father, he said. Yeah, I know what kind of love you're talking about, bastard. He told me at 23, I am not your father. His words. I had a boyfriend, George Allen Baker Jr., saying he is not your father. You've been a victim of child pornography. You have been the victim of sex traffickers. This was told to me at 23. Now, this is why I want confidentiality. This is why I want encryption. Because this is fucking insane. This is why I'm angry. Angry at men. Angry at the way men treat me. Yell at me. Curse me. There was a crack addict where I live here that fucking went off on me because I wanted to use the computer for 30 minutes and he had been on it for 8 fucking hours. And I'm trying to get homework done for grad school and it's the only computer here. And he couldn't give me 30 minutes. And he's fucking cursing me out. I just had one of the tenants here, one of the clients here, come to me and say that was so wrong of how he treated you and how he put you down and started cursing you out and it wasn't right. And I was finally grateful that somebody said that wasn't right. So many times people have said that it's okay. Look the other way. Not say anything. Censor me. Keep me quiet. Stop talking about it, Buffy. Stop talking about it. Well, I'll stop talking about it when I stop getting stalked. I was just stalked the other night. The other fucking night. It's happening again. And you want to talk about safety and my need for not encryption? Are you fucking insane? I'm serious. Are you fucking insane? Now, you don't live in this world like the world I'm describing, but I do. And my confidentiality is important. And my sense of safety is important. And my sense of security, my ability to take care of myself is paramount. And I cannot begin to tell you how cruel this world has been to me in my home and on the street, in my own bed, in my own bathroom. I hated being at home because home meant hell. hell, and I could never just relax and feel safe. I could not write in a journal and trust that nobody would open it and read it. I could not go to sleep at night without fearing somebody's penetrating me with the knuckles of their finger jammed so up my pussy. Yeah, I'm angry. I'm fucking livid and angry. And I have been like this for all my fucking life. And I swear to God, please make it stop. Make it stop. I can't go on like this. I just can't. I get so upset. I'm a pacifist. I'm a peaceful, loving person. But I get a rage in me every time I get violated. I once wrote 47 pages, single space, of every fucking injustice ever done to my mind, heart, body, and spirit. Especially my body. How can I feel in my body? How can I want to be inside my body? Why do I want to focus on my body when all I want to do is escape and leave and go far, far away so I don't feel the damn pain? Why do you think I'm a workaholic? Because I can't do anything but throw myself into work to try to desensitize my pain. Men have done this to me every age of my life. Every child, every grade school, every middle school, every high school, every college, after college, then back in college, on the street, in my bathroom, in my life. I don't feel safe in this world. As a guy, you might feel safe and not understand what I'm talking about. But I'm telling you, you're never going to connect with a woman and help her if you can't understand why moon circles are so important, why she needs a sisterhood of other women who have been there, done that. Hashtag me too. Hashtag me too. Finally, people are talking about it. Growing up in a war zone where your body is not your fucking body in the hands of other men. Men. I had a 26-year-old foster brother fucking me with his fingers in my own bed, in the basement. And I can't escape this. This was supposed to be a safe place. I was supposed to run from Grady to a safe place called a foster home where none of this shit was supposed to happen again, and it did. It did. And he knew. This foster brother, Steve, knew why I was there. He knew that Grady had sexually assaulted me from 2 to 15. That's 13 years. That's over a decade. He exploited that. My need for wanting to have comfort, to be trusted, to be validated, to have an older father figure or brother to compensate for all the abuse that I had been through. He saw that and exploited that vulnerability and got on my good side and tried to pretend to be my best friend and tried to pretend that he was doing it for me, that he cared. It's a bunch of lies. It's all been a bunch of lies. I need confidentiality. I need security.